It smells like hypocrisy of the highest order, because while in public there is a very strong pitch that we are overtaxing you to fix the economy, but actions do not meet, really do not conform with what is coming from the lips. I'm speaking about the 2 billion budget that the State House team is asking the National Assembly to approve to take care of William Ruto's foreign trips after Treasury allocated William Ruto 700 million for the foreign trips in the next financial year. Who is saying the truth? Is it a question of double speaking? Because the pundits are asking really whether the taxes that we are over collecting from the payrolls are to be used for fixing the economy, or they will end up in people's pockets. Welcome to the bold analysis. In this podcast, let's delve deep at the latest statement coming from the National Assembly on a direction that has been given from State House for the Budget Committee to make an additional 1.3 billion for William Ruto's foreign debts. The Treasury allocated President Ruto 700 million for their foreign trips. But looking at what they've been told, the State House has asked MPs now to add extra 1.3 billion. And then between the members of Parliament and Treasury, where exactly do you think that figure is being sneaked in the National Assembly, where the real planners are the guys in Treasury? State House budget doubles. This is according to The Nation. State House budget has more than doubled to 8.85 billion from 4.37 billion approved under former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And you know, these are the fellows that have taken the microphone to shout that we found empty coffers, in that the State House for the last regime was largely used to play politics. But then we are also seeing exorbitant cash really needed at the house on top of the hill. So what is happening? Taxpayers will have to fork out 2 billion to facilitate President William Ruto's trips abroad if Parliament approves proposals for the financial year starting July 1. If you look at what Ruto has approved for the foreign trips and look at what Uhuru Kenyatta approved them, then it has almost doubled. Is it directly proportional to the demand for our revenues to be doubled, revenue collection to be doubled, if just a State House budget has increased almost twice? Ladies and gentlemen, what exactly are you not being told in the taxation question? And I want to break it down into my power 3. The power 3 is the reason behind this tax con. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. I want to say, number one, there is one thing that no one seems to be talking about, but it is happening. Political mobilization under the guise of State House events. What is happening? Much of that which we are collecting will not go and is not part of the economic recovery. I am afraid that even the housing levy, there are many questions around it. I don't want to delve more into about it in this analysis, because I'll have to look at it tomorrow in my first video on Tuesday morning. The many questions, loose ends around it, tells you that there is a lot of money that is needed for political mobilization. How do you explain the difference if Treasury allocated 700 million? Do you want to tell me that the Treasury team, they made a mistake? And if it is, how can it be such a big error that Parliament is asked to add a 1.3, just double that which was set aside by the Treasury? Between the Treasury and the Parliament, who has the data and who is more privy to the financial obligations of the State House? Is it Parliament or Treasury? And that is why I can say part of what is wrapped as State House budget might actually be the real money that is needed for the Sunday interdenominational services. It might also be needed for the foreign trips where politicians are carried overseas for political smoothing because they're given audience to fly with the president, and William Ruto will take that opportunity to smoothen them. What is being asked here, from where I'm seated, it is not really true that the 1.3 billion that is needed will go for the foreign trips. Even if the Treasury was to do underestimation, they cannot underestimate it by 1.3 billion. And so, I think it is about time we stop lying that we found empty coffers, because we are not behaving financially as people who really found empty coffers. My power too. The taxes we are collecting to fix the economy would actually end up in people's pockets. And I normally say that even if you look at the debate in this country, talk to people in matatus, talk to the boda guy carrying you, talk to the teacher of your daughter, of your son, talk to people in your circle. I can tell you that the kind of criticism or the mistrust the Kenyan people have is not on the fact that maybe those taxes might affect their pockets. By the way, many people don't understand how the taxation might affect their pockets directly. Because most people, their basic products, the basic goods that whether the price is high or not, you're not. Just today I was in the supermarket. Not in the supermarket, I like doing impulse buying, especially in the shops. And I was shocked when my good friend Richard was telling me that a packet of unga was going at 275. There's that which is called Kavaraga. That's normally the one I normally buy. It's normally, I think up to last week it started from 230, 240, 260, now it's 275. And so, rightfully so, Kenyans are worried that the much of these taxes we are collecting, they will go to people's pockets. And the termites will come out of the woodwork to feast on those taxes. The extra budget we are talking about, it is actually true that such kind of cash would get the people's pockets. And which kind of precedents are we making? Because if a whole nation can splash such a headline, and I want to look at it, Ruto seeks 2 billion in the next year's budget for foreign trips. This is in page what? This is in page 4. And it is coming in the backdrop of an effort to have austerity measures so that we can have budget within our means. The talk of having budget within our means has remained just in the lips of politicians, especially when they see the microphone. Just some time back, I did not entertain it, but I saw a question by Kileleshwa MCA Robert Alai asking who is paying for travel allowances and who is paying for the foreign dignitaries that are coming in this country. And there are talks in the corridor that President William Ruto has been using some state house budget to facilitate these leaders who are coming to Kenya because he's struggling to get legitimacy. And you know, honestly, I did not estimate it because I did not entertain it because I always say that these are leaders that can afford. Of course, the presidents, they can afford. I think King Charles, the one that recently there was a coronation, I don't know if I've gotten the name right, Prince, King Prince, is supposed to visit Kenya, I think probably later on this year. And the discussion has been on who is footing the bills. While someone is saying, there have been this talk in the corridors that State House has been footing some bills for foreign dignitaries to come in this country so that number one, we can beg them, and number two, we can beg them for the financial aids and grants, and number two, we're also bringing them here for the question of legitimacy. And true to that, you will see immediately when they come, the UDA bloggers will run very interesting storylines on how Leader X is visiting President Ruto because of this, and so it's because of legitimacy questions. Those have always arisen from this. And because of when that story comes amid such a shocking review upwards of State House budget, you may not want to agree. But then, amid such talk, you tend to think that it could be true that while we are talking about financing foreign visits, there is also a likelihood that we are financing visitors, foreigners, visiting the country. That will be the ugliest face of desperation to show legitimacy. I want to finish this podcast by an article I once read from Macharia Munene, an editor. He did that article in September. You know, I like that column. And was saying that for President Ruto to give us precedents, good precedents, he must allow the State House budget to be audited by the Auditor General. When that happens from the house in the top of the hill, then it will cascade down. We are really waiting for that. You know, many people don't know. I think there is a parliamentary provision. I think there is an act of parliament that maybe prohibits that. State House budget is not normally audited. And if the little that is done, it's just a state value, there's quite a number. Things that is not, because you'll be told about, it will be wrapped in some very technicalities, national security, presidential privacy, this and that. You'll always be told a lot of things about it. And lastly, let's just think. Bilateral ties. You know, I normally look at social media pages of members of executive. When they go out, they speak about bilateral ties, and I'm like, some, you don't even see the tangible. You know, those MOUs are kept in some files, but do they really, are all of them relevant? I think it's about time we audit those foreign visits. Some are actually packaged as foreign visits, but they're just personal trips. For example, there was one that President went to Germany. Very successfully went to Germany, and we even saw the German also Chancellor coming here, and there's a talk about creation of jobs. We also saw Canada, there was a talk about creation of jobs. You could see tangible solutions. There are some foreign trips here that I've never seen feedback, never seen the output of those foreign visits. So as we talk about this, I think we should also get, there are a lot of stuff that is really covered in technical words, but in real sense, we are taking taxpayers' money to do personal things.